Hello everyone, it's Oliver Harper here, and I'm back with Brad Watson. How are you doing, sir?
Greetings, Starfighter. I'm very good, thank you. Full of Christmas cheer and food and beer.
We are recording this before the day before Christmas Eve.
We are. It's Christmas Eve, yes.
Eve, exactly.
Yes.
Now today we are covering The Last Starfighter. So if you wish to sync the commentary with your own copy of the film, put the timestamp basically when the original Universal logo starts, because the Blu-ray has a bunch of logos beforehand. So start it from the original 80s classic version of the Universal logo. So if you wish to sync it now, press play on your remote.
There you go. The old logo that even when I see it now, all I can hear is the underwater noises at the beginning of Jaws.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, because this is a film I covered a number of years ago as a retrospective. It was something I didn't grow up with and watched as an adult and still found it thoroughly enjoyable. I didn't feel that this is like proper
it's got
cheesy.
bags of charm. It's got
charm is in its favour.
Listen to this music. The second, because I didn't see this at the cinema. In fact, I was unaware of it at the cinema, and it was only when it came out on video that me and my mates thought we'd give it a go. And this started, and this music started up, and I was just like, yep, I'm buying what you're selling. I'm enjoying this already, and all I've seen is a planet whiz by, and it's just it's epic sounding. It's so good. The score is amazing.
It's got some nice sort of CG effects.
Yeah. We'll go into that. Yeah.
And with some Superman-inspired text, isn't it? But it's going backwards.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's getting sucked down his hole.
Sucked down the devil's anus. It's like, but it's just you're just back in 80s big budget sci-fi action. It's wonderful.
Would you say is this sort of the knock-on effect of studios wanting another Star Wars?
Oh, of course, yeah, absolutely. It's all part of that thing. It's like like when we did the Kroll commentary and all that stuff. It was all because of Star Wars, even though they were trying to mesh where they were trying to mesh genres like
Dungeons and Dragons, sort of.
And then there's things like this where it's just let's just do a spaceship film.
Yeah,
let's just do it. But then this is like what are the kids into? They're into video games.
Yeah,
so let's do that. So
this came out sort of just after the the video game crash for the States. For the UK, for everywhere else, it didn't really affect them really, because everyone was enjoying their ZX Spectrums and Commodore 64s.
The old ZX Spectrum 48K with the spongy keys that got stuck, so you just end up with the letter X going across your screen constantly because you couldn't get stuck. But then I upgraded to the ZX Spectrum 128K. Whoa! I was like master of the universe then. I would hold that keyboard aloft and yell out like Dolph Lundgren, I have the power. Anyway, so and then suddenly we got Nick Castle really goes for the Spielberg style here.
He kind of nails it.
Oh, he nails
a great
it
job
brilliantly.
With it.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful.
It doesn't kind of fall into a parody. It kind of falls into
no. It's its own thing. It's basically saying, yeah, we're doing this. We're doing you loved E.T. You loved you love all this stuff, and we're going to do it. I suppose it's kind of saying, what if Star Wars came to, the Spielberg suburban environment, and then but then obviously let's go one better and make it a mobile home.
Well, yeah, I suppose
park.
For the UK version, they'll probably be like, these are basically gypsies.
Gypsies.
A trailer trash, sort of thing, isn't it? But the whole it's great because you've got this character who wants to the main lead. I can't remember, Elliot. It's not Elliot. Sorry, I'm thinking of E.T.
No, Alex.
Yes. Well, he's
sparkling day,
wanting to escape this life because everyone around him, he's seen them just go off to the community college, and he wants to go on to bigger things. He has big ideals, and as we see, I think he sort of applied for a loan or sort of support to get out of there.
Yeah, like a bursary or something.
Yeah, and he also gets it gets declined, and he obviously resorts to sort of going back to playing the arcade machine that sort of turned up here, called The Last Starfighter. I believe so. And
but this is just a wonderful little shot here that just does track through the park, kids running around,
introduce all the characters with this kind of tracking.
Introduce the characters, and there's all bit of overlapping dialogue going on, kids running around laughing, and it is very Spielbergian.
And I presume that sort of Spielberg must have seen this over the years, and because Nick Castle kind of went on to write bits of Hook.
He did. He wrote. Yeah, he was originally writing Hook before I think before James Hart came on board. So I think he's credited with story, isn't he, for Hook?
Yes, because obviously for horror fans, Nick Castle is the original Michael Myers.
He is indeed. Look at it. Yeah, this whimsical, lovely film is directed by Michael Myers. It's brilliant. I love that. I love it. Beep, 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 Sorry. Again, it's a movie that I grew up with, and so all these little sound effects, all these little moments of score, little moments of computer game effects, and all that stuff, are just engraved in my head.
It's this kind of film that kind of fits nicely. Actually, it would be good as a double bill with like war games or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I swear to God, this Blu-ray, I actually didn't realise it's got a lot of noise reduction on it.
Yeah.
It's been smoothed over with Vaseline,
It has, yeah. It doesn't look like, it doesn't really look like a print, does it?
No.
But it looks really nice though, very clean.
And this arcade, that was supposed to be a video game released through Atari, because at the end they promised a video game which never actually came out. I think also because maybe they were in financial difficulties, or the film didn't really do as well as they kind of expected. It cost like 15 million. I think it did like 28 domestically, but then worldwide I think it kind of boosted its profits. So, but it's as I mentioned earlier, because I wasn't introduced to it till later on. As a kid, I never really saw it. I don't recall it ever being on TV.
No,
during the summer or like a rainy weekend or something.
I don't remember it on TV much, but I was always hiring it out on VHS.
But I'd heard about it because people had mentioned because Tron was the one that sort of really pushed the sort of video game sort of CGI. Well, it had CGI that was replicating a computer game.
Yeah.
With Star Trek 2, you had CGI trying to be photorealistic in a way.
Yeah, but it was still a simulation, so you could get away with with it.
And this was another film. Well, this is the next step on where it was trying to be photorealistic.
This has got to be the first film to try and use photorealistic, use CGI to create photorealistic objects.
Yeah,
like really.
Yeah,
which was a hell of a gamble.
Oh, definitely. Because still at that time, it was so primitive the technology was. Because what me and Brad are sort of reading through it was like they had a miniature unit standing by to take over. If the results of the CGI,
they were very nervous about it, and they weren't 100% sure if it was going to work.
Yeah,
and but I look, I mean, we have our discussions about CGI and all that stuff, but back in the day, I have to admit it took me a couple of viewings of the movie where I suddenly twigged that the effects were computer graphics. Like back in the day when I was a young fool, and watching it on the TV, I just got swept away in the whole thing and just accepted everything I was watching. And then it was like when I was watching it again, I remember the shot where I suddenly noticed there's something odd about these models, and it's like, well,
they're a bit shiny,
aren't they? Yeah, they're not actually models. I think that's computer graphics.
Yeah.
So it was effective back in the day. It was.
I think it's a good take on incorporating video games, because the video game is not it's not about video games. He has the video game as a sort of it gives him this opportunity to do something bigger outside of his own world.
Yeah,
it's sort of the catalyst to sort of get the story going.
But I guess in a way that's how, even when you watch it now and the CGI effects are, really haven't dated well, but you still get away with it because the whole thing is kind of connected to a computer game in the first place.
Yeah.
That you sort of stylistically you sort of go with it. You're like, yeah, okay, everything looks like a computer game because and it also is like, well, the whole thing could just be a crazy fever dream, and so everything looks like a computer game. It does just sort of unconsciously is linked to the computer game. So you sort of go with the CGI effects, I guess.
Sort of gets a pass, doesn't it?
Yeah. But look, I love that score, that flute going up and down, and all that. The sort of whimsical wind that comes in.
Craig Saffin, isn't it?
Yeah,
he did the score. Who was most known for Cheers,
yeah.
TV show Cheers, and did Elm Street Part 4, which would have been after this.
I'm surprised he didn't do a lot more big movies after this, because Because this score is absolutely wonderful.
It's brilliant. Yeah, it's got all the sort of the big heroic stuff of Williams and things like that. And
I mean, he should at least been up there like with the likes of Bruce Broughton and those guys, like that sort of tier of guys that were doing like the stuff when Williams and Goldsmith weren't around, but still sounded amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And it was actually just reading through recently, because I just covered Lethal Weapon, but Kamen was unsure about his career during the 80s, because he had done work. He did kind of additional cues for like Life Force, but that's mostly Henry Mancini. But he did Highlander, Brazil. I mean, those films are all kind of bombs. You know, they weren't two mega hits. No. And he said he felt you only get noticed if you were involved in a big hit movie.
Yeah.
And this may be in the case with Craig.
Yeah, absolutely.
That it wasn't this kind of massive kind of movie that came under the radar of film, of studios.
Look at that. No, it's so Close Encounters.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
it does look like it's kind of like three elements there. Like you got the background plate, and the town, and you got the light on the left.
Yeah,
it all kind of seamlessly fits together.
But of course, what you got to also understand is that all this stuff is even though the effects are digital, this is all still optical comping.
Yeah,
there's no
analog
digital composition didn't come in until '89, which I believe the very first digital composition shot is in Last Crusade.
Yes, the guy sort of ages really quickly.
Yeah, Donovan aging, and so anything before Last Crusade, you're still watching optical compositing, which means it all got ran through an optical printer, several strips of film, mats all lining up, everything, logistical nightmare. And these guys were doing it, every day and making. Sometimes it didn't quite work, but when it did work, it still looks wonderful.
It does. It's like I don't think there's actually that many. Maybe not. That may be a map we saw earlier. But
there's not a huge amount of comps in this.
No, because it's all just sticks to the computer generated imagery.
Yeah, so I think they could really spend their time on the ones that they had, and that's the thing. If you keep comping down to a minimum, you can work on them and make them look fantastic.
It's interesting that nowadays, if a guy was obsessed with playing this arcade machine, I think most girls or the girl he fancies will probably be like, "No, I'm not playing that game again, are you? God, you loser!"
This was total nerd fantasy fulfillment.
It is, isn't it? And with this, but everyone seems very much enthused by his ability to play the game really well. Oh, she's from was it Night of the Comet? I think it's a Night of the Comet, a horror film where they sort of this obviously this comet hits whatever, and everyone becomes like zombies in this town. It's a really good film.
That's right. Yeah.
I always got sort of got her confused with like Chelsea Fields, who was in like He-Man and as T-Lar and stuff.
I got her. I sometimes would get confused with Alexandra Paul, who was around at the time, who went on to be in Baywatch, but she was the girl in Christine and things like that.
Right. Yes.
But this isn't her. Sorry, love. We're talking about another actresses whilst you're on screen, which is really unpolite because she's very good in this. She's really nice. But,
she sort of handles the sort of comedy stuff really well.
Yeah.
When we introduced to the double for.
Yeah. Oh, I think the comedy in this film is brilliant.
Oh, it's great.
So well done. And Lance Guest is definitely great at that sort of stuff. It's a shame he went on to be in Jaws: The Revenge, but
poor man.
I'd love to have a chat with him about all that.
What were you thinking?
I'm sure the pain is gone.
It was
now.
funny because this was Universal as well, so they probably thought, this guy was great in Starfighter. Let's put him in Jaws.
Yeah, he is a right here. He is a young leading man.
Yeah,
he's really got all the leading man qualities. I think
got the acting chops.
Yeah.
See, when I reviewed this, some people kind of got a little bit their knickers in a twist because I said it's slightly unrealistic where people will be cheering on him to get a high score. I think maybe because of the British mentality and attitude is just like completely different to maybe a small
we'd all be
town.
Standing around with polite applause and just go.
Got a fag in your mouth.
Well done, mate. Well done. Yeah.
You got like a stack of 50p's on the side of the arcade. Going, when's it my turn?
Yeah, going. Come on, hurry up. The command ship. What's the command ship? It is one of those, but it is also early game technology, filmmakers sort of thought of how games work. It's like it's like it doesn't make much sense.
It
but,
looks. I remember there was a game I had in the 90s by Namco. It's called Starblade, and it looks a little bit like that.
See, whenever I got high scores on the Star Wars arcade game, I never got a snog off a pretty girl straight away. What do you mean? Why was that? Why was that?
It's got that sort of robotic voice that had in the arcade, didn't they? Like actual recordings.
Yeah.
You're okay, Cled. Sort of thing.
Okay. Yahoo! You're okay, kid.
It's all all kind of like weird. It wasn't perfect quality, but it was kind of, for the time, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah. Oh, I was obsessed with the Star Wars game.
He's still getting like applause for his high score.
Because he got a high score
so funny,
on a computer game.
It's funny now, isn't it? Because high scores are never really a thing at all anymore. I mean, as a kid, there was this kind of high scores were the thing for the arcades where you had your name there until the owner turns the machine off and resets everything.
But what I love about it's a naive filmmaker's mentality of computer games. It's like what he completes the game and therefore wins a record, and the game is over. It's like, well, no, doesn't the game just sort of carry on?
It resets and just goes back to the beginning, and you've got to get a higher score.
It's like, no, you broke the record, that's it. Off you go.
You got the high score, now you're leaving.
Now you're leaving?
I've got to go on. I've got to complete Pac-Man next.
Just got to take your high score and go. But again, that when you look back on that sequence where he's getting the high score, and there's just the way it's cut, the little cutaways of the cat and the dog barking, and the way the score is building, it's wonderfully done. It's really wonderfully done.
His younger brother's brilliant, isn't he? He's got like a stash of Playboys, isn't he?
Yeah.
He goes, I tell Mum about your Playboys. And he's like, right. He goes straight to bed. Well, Mum's slightly disapproving there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't actually know what's happened to his father, do we? I don't think they kind of explain that.
No. Well, again, this is one of those things where you don't need...
It's kind of like it's like with the sort of Spielberg mentality where you've got this kind of slightly dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
Where it's not fully complete and it's missing the father or whatever.
Yeah.
That was a slow run away there. That was a bit of an old man jog. That was yeah.
But he's definitely designed to look like Elliot, like grown up a bit. He's an older version of Elliot. There's no doubt about it. The same sort of plaid shirt, open shirt with a t-shirt. There's definite. That can't be a coincidence.
It's the non-threatening boy kind of image.
Yes.
Basically. All he's got to do is to save some money and just leave this place. Mow enough lawns, you can escape.
Yeah,
that's a great shot.
Yeah, look, it's wonderful, and it's just sort of, that connection of the real world and the fantasy of space.
I think there's a shooting star in a minute. Let's go whizzing.
There we go. There it is. Yeah. So that's definitely a Spielberg.
That
thing.
Yeah, the shooting
but
star
I'm assuming that's supposed.
Jaws and E.T. I think they're shooting stars.
Oh, they're shooting.
And also Close Encounters.
And Temple of Doom. There's but I'm assuming that shooting star is sort of could be the car, could be Centauri coming down.
Now he's tucked his shirt into his jeans. That's slightly uncool.
Oh, he's cut down in your estimations. Coolness.
Wait a minute, Brad. You dress a bit like Alex, don't you?
I'm partial to the open shirt look. It has to be said. It is a very, very clever little fantasy fulfillment idea, isn't it? The idea that being good at an arcade game, but you're secretly being tested to be a real pilot.
Yeah,
up in the universe, you know.
Well, it's funny in a way because like things like the flight simulators for the PC were pretty accurate in replicating the sort of the function of a plane and how to fly it legitimately. The car. This is the car from Time Cop. You know, if you've seen Time Cop, it's like the cars are pretty much like this. It's like they've used the same shell from Time Cop and from Last Starfighter and used it in Time Cop.
Yeah, because this is
before.
Time Cop was 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's 94. In the future of Time Cop.
Future. It's all Robert Preston.
They probably hired an actor who had no idea what a video game was to talk about video games with such enthusiasm and like, I know, I created that game. What is it?
So Robert Preston. No, he's a good actor.
Yeah, he's brilliant. Yeah.
But this was his last film, I think. This was his last role.
Oh, it's copied him now, isn't it? Yeah. But the best is Dan O'Hillery.
Oh yeah. Oh well, yeah.
We'll see in a minute. Who's incredible.
We'll go on about him when he turns up because he is so good.
I think there's a slight vibe of the TV show V with the sort of the mask reveal and the face and
yes. Mm.
He's keeping the steering wheel relatively still.
Yeah.
Usually in these films, they often are just, you know,
like,
they go down a straight road, but they're steering left and right like a madman.
Yeah.
You know. What the hell?
What the hell?
There's always kind of weird, like the ideal sort of futuristic car. It's also a bit like in Moonwalker, where you've got this kind of speeding car whizzing through.
Yeah.
Kind of a little bit sort of vibes of this.
Yeah.
And Michael Jackson's gone, oh, I like that car.
Yeah. Moonwalker. Yeah.
Didn't you say like Moonwalker was the first film you experienced where people walked out of the cinema?
First thing I ever witnessed people getting up and storming out. Here we go.
That's a bit CGI.
Here we go. Now this. Look at it. It's the music selling it though.
Oh yeah, it really does. Look at that. That's a pretty
That's
good.
really
still.
good. It's really good. Bless him.
The bit I love is when he kind of goes into like a hyper speed, whatever it is, hyperdrive mode.
Yeah, and
it goes to that tunnel.
Stars become you get that cylindrical effect of the stars. It's really
and he
really
comes
amazing.
out of it, and the frame rate's so smooth. It's just like seamless. It's very nice effect. It would have been cool to have this as a an official video game, sort of to play in the arcade, but it's
see these goggly eyes cleaning his eyes. Got to Saturn already.
It's going pretty quick.
Here we go.
All the disco lights.
Yeah.
Because obviously with this CGI used in the film, it's developed by a company that had did some of the work on Tron. So you've got this, because Tron had these sort of cylindrical effects for the opening sequence, I think.
Yeah. I think the guys.
They all came from advertising.
They came from there, yeah.
It's a sequence I love.
Yeah.
Look at that. That does look nice.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Look at it. He's got his face back on.
These guys were doing all this computer-generated material before even ILM made a start. I mean,
well, ILM were obviously well, they did Wrath of Khan.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
And I think that I haven't looked into the proper history of the company, Digital Productions, which was the company that did this, and Triple I, which is where the guys were with when they did Tron. But I'm assuming that there are some original ILM people,
It's probably
that they
one of the
were all
companies
kind
were
of feeding off
purchased
each other a
by
bit.
them, or like the software. But there's because Tron was made by like the effects were handled on Tron by different companies who specialised in certain things.
Yeah.
Or we can do this type of effect, or we can do that type of thing.
Yeah.
Because they said on Tron, like when you're programming in all the code, it's all that to determine the camera angles and all that stuff and what it's going to look like. You don't know what it's going to look like until it comes out the other end.
Out, yeah.
So it's so unpredictable.
It would take days to render.
Yeah.
But this is the extent. I mean, because even Tron, Tron's got its CGI stuff going on, obviously, but an awful lot of it is also kind of traditional hand drawn stuff and matte stuff. And
that's the thing that frustrated Harrison Ellenshaw and things like that, because when it came to the Oscars, they felt they cheated.
Yeah,
by using computers when the majority of the film was all rotoscoping and matte
rotoscoping and stuff. Yeah. These bald aliens, these sort of Widow Peaks aliens.
This is all the design of the car and this space station, as it were, is all done by Ron Cobb, who had worked on Alien. He cameoed in Conan the Barbarian. Also, he designed that as well. He plays one of the sort of local sort of shopkeepers or something when Conan's going through the little villages.
Yeah. Yeah, you can certainly.
There's a bit of Star Wars vibe when you see like the bad guys in their sort of like control room.
Yeah,
there's a little bit of a vibe, and there's a very, very smoky atmosphere to it as well to sort of diffuse a lot of the.
But one of my favourite things, though, it's really cool that there's a sci-fi TV show I'm developing at the moment, but we're blatantly copying it because I just love it. Is the bad guy that's got the little bit of glass on the side of his head that goes over his eye.
Oh yeah, that's a little bit like this in Star Trek with the what they called the Borgs. Borgs, is it?
The Borgs, yeah. This is before that though, and they would, but it would the way it would go at the end. It goes, we die. It's so good.
This is the race of giant foreheads.
Yep,
more forehead now than man. I love how, because Alex just finds everything completely ridiculous, and he doesn't take any of it seriously. He's like, what? Why am I here? Sort of attitude,
The 7 pillars of Vulu be with you. Yee. The days of Playboy.
So it's implied that's his kind of collection of magazines. Or it could be Alex's. He's kind of pinching.
I think it's Alex's. He's pinching.
Yeah,
I think.
That's right. Is it? This would have been slightly freaky when you see he's pretending to he's trying to be asleep, not to be disturbed, so he can still keep transforming.
Yeah,
but then you see his face.
It's really, really creepy. But the thing is, you end up really liking this guy.
Oh, he's great
as another character. He's still played by Lance Guest, and but he's totally another character, and you really end up liking him. You're really sad when he sacrifices himself.
Because he's just got to try and fit in and try and sort of react. Oh yeah,
it's the stuff of nightmares.
He's got to try and react to her advances, hasn't he?
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. Star League. It's one of my favourite bits. And I love the random guy that's being melted as well. Like,
Yeah.
we caught one of your spies.
Do you think there's kind of a Buck Rogers kind of vibe with this?
Yeah, definitely.
I do feel there's a slight sort of 70s kind of TV show sci-fi vibe to it.
Yeah.
Where it's not... It doesn't feel as kind of fresh as when you see Star Wars, which is like, wow, at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, and this... It feels slightly kind of in the vein of the sort of, TV science fiction.
Yeah.
Which has its kind of pros and cons, because I think Alex's kind of outfit he has to wear has come from that sort of 70s beige.
Yeah. It feels quite Space 1999.
Yes. A bit ADR there.
Mm-hmm.
He always tells ADR, just like, that's blatantly dubbed. With his own voice.
Excellent.
Even the women have like haircuts like men.
Yeah,
it's like
balding widow's peaks.
It's a bit weird. Like, oh, I don't believe this. It's like a bunch of old men. It's like, oh, this guy's so like a callback to the guy from Star Wars about the the Death Star plans and trying to tell them what's going on.
Yep.
They're kind of like these are kind of like guys from the Cantina bar, aren't they?
Yeah.
This is phase 2 of the Cantina bar, the next wave of action figures from Star Wars.
Yep.
God. Is this Atari's headquarters?
Yes.
What was that? Because in a minute we will see the main villain, who is the son of this guy who's given them this speech, and he's very like his performance echoes a lot of what Will Ferrell does later on in his career.
Right.
It's a sort of piss take kind of character where if they did a Saturday Night Live sketch of this, Will Ferrell would be that character.
Yeah.
But also, when I looked at years later when there was an animated film, was it Megamind, something like that? Will Ferrell.
Yes, yeah.
It feels like Will Ferrell's kind of took some ideas from this kind of character.
I really hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of the.
What's that film no one remembers from the '80s where I can copy it, but no one would notice?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. This sort of petulant, sort of spoilt,
bad
guy.
Yeah, you've nailed that. Yeah, that's pretty much him down to a T. His character. What they shouting?
Victory or death.
Oh, I thought I was saying angry or dead.
Yeah. Yeah, which is where he's kind of. Yeah. Okay, and here we go.
Oh, now what I don't think I mentioned it in my review, but I swear to God, Robert Llewellyn had taken some inspiration from him for Crichton.
The
last the same.
Yeah.
And the sort of expressions he does under the mask, because the mask obviously seems a lot more restricted than, say, I don't know, Frank Langella's Skeletor and Robert Llewellyn's Crichton mask. So you just have to do a lot underneath to sort of get that face, those expressions across. Extraordinary. I do think his head looks edible. It looks like he's made out of a Easter egg, doesn't he?
It looks edible. You crack it open. And highly regular. It's
so because all for me he was always just the man from RoboCop. The old man, they called him.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, it was a long time before I realised that was the same guy.
Yeah, yeah.
That it was the old man
because he was
RoboCop.
playing his, always playing these characters who were well. To me, it was the guy from RoboCop, and he was the one who was pretty scary but very controlled in what he did.
What a wonderful actor! I mean, what a wonderful actor he is to be from in my childhood to be playing two people, and I had no idea it was the same guy.
Mm. And his son was in Superman 3 as Brad. And in Willow.
And in Willow.
They're all going to be in a landfill like E.T. I don't think this is even on Netflix. This movie, I haven't seen it pop up. Universal really need to push it more. This movie, because the whole success of Ready Player One, this has vibes of that.
Oh, totally.
This needs to be sort of, I think, really sort of
they
taken advantage of more as this kind of 80s nostalgia.
Well, they were developing a sequel quite recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I love to see that.
And I think there was a rights issue, and I think that right issue's been
resolved. Isn't it?
Resolved, yeah. Okay. So there might be movement on it again soon.
Well, if Nick Castle's probably on Twitter, just drop him a tweet, say, "Oi, what's happening to the sequel?"
Yeah,
do it.
Oi.
Cheers, Nick. Bye.
Well, I think the rights are with the original writer,
okay.
John Betuel, who went on to make a real little gem of a film called My Science Project that I absolutely love. One of the best dinosaur effects in that before Jurassic Park came along.
Really?
My Science Project. Yeah, the T-Rex in that is so good.
I'm sure you mentioned this before, actually.
Probably have.
I was like, yeah, what is that movie? And I just could not think of
it.
So well.
We'll put it on the way about.
It's so Will Ferrell.
He sounds like when Bill Murray is doing his Richard Burton impression in Scrooge. It's this random guy. It's just like, hello,
Spearhead 1. It's like,
and he's like. He's just He's just put a big
face there. That's great.
Well, he's just put a big blob of plasticine on his head. There you go. Ah. I don't know who this actor is.
That's a Matt there. That was Matt.
Yeah. But he sounds like he should be in Biggles or something.
It's interesting that because usually with these sort of hologram sort of transmissions, because he's looking down at them as well. You don't really tend to have that. He's usually just like,
oh yeah, he's just looking all around, and there's like, so I'm trying to imagine what you'd see if you saw him the other end. There's this miniature version of that whole set just around his head. He's just like looking. Yeah, so that my science project was with John Stockwell and Fisher Stevens. Fisher Stevens is so good in it.
Was that a movie you saw at the cinema? Was it something you
no,
saw
again, I don't
VHS?
even know if that ever actually had a cinema release in the UK. It just turned up on video one, and it just, and it had some really cool effects, some real old school, animation lightning effects going on, and
I suppose sometimes studios probably thought, well, the cost of making all these prints, advertising it for UK distribution, when they just put it on VHS, which essentially would be rented for £2.50, £3 whatever, and the cinema ticket would cost probably the equivalent. or people could buy the film for X amount of money because the videotapes. If you go back and look through old Starburst magazines,
Yeah.
for UK listeners, and you find advertisements in those mags in the 80s, it will have things like RoboCop for £80.
Yeah.
You know, these were like retail value
Yeah.
like, to buy, and I presume they cost even more for the rental stores who wanted to get in, I don't know, the latest copy of The Last Crusade or something to rent, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, they can probably, make quite a hefty profit on that because the VHS market was was going through the roof.
Well, it's booming. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was absolutely booming. I mean, there was video shops everywhere, and this was kind of before in the UK before Blockbuster even was around. Like Blockbuster was a little bit later, or I think it was started to come around now, but but Blockbuster wasn't in every town.
No, because we had our own sort of, in America they call it mum and pop stores, don't they?
Yeah.
Where it's like we had our own kind of just
Yeah.
like privately owned rental stores.
I had Mr. Video down the road.
Hollywood
And I had-
Video or something stupid.
And I had Diamond Video down the other road.
Only I hold the secret to the frontier. Only I know the location of the Starfighter base.
He's really going for it.
I mean, Universal probably obviously knew this film must have been popular on VHS for them to do it as a special edition laserdisc in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
So there was, it's under their signature collection. So those sort of films often are the ones that they feel they're somewhat important. There's also a market for it. Fire. It's obviously, they probably thought as well when they were designing some of these characters, this could be a great action figure, which never happened.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were definitely looking like that. I mean, there's a lot in the design of the bad guys. It reminds me of the Black Hole.
Yes. That's I probably will review it, I think, because everyone has pestered me for the last 3 years for a review of the Black Hole. And I've kind of just sort of said, it was not a movie I grew up on, but it was a film that I kind of responded to their comments and saying that, it was a film made by Disney to capture the magic of Star Wars, but directed and handled by old geezers that were out of touch with what was cool, what was contemporary, and what kids wanted. And that's what you get.
It was on the list of greenlit remakes at some point that someone was going to remake it. And to be honest, I think the Black Hole is, I'd love to remake that. I think that you could remake that as a an interesting kind of cerebral sci-fi with action elements over the top of it. You just make it much more.
Take something that didn't quite work, and give it a new lease of life.
Which is what they should be remaking, not just rehashing successes. Well, yeah, of course. That's the artist in me talking. Obviously, it's obvious why they just rehashing the successes.
Because it's a slightly off topic now, with the discussion of remakes, but of course, there's the talk of the Big Trouble in Little China remake or kind of semi-sequel with The Rock.
Yeah.
And I think Carpenter said recently that he's like, why are they remaking this when it was a complete disaster? But also over the years, it's become very successful because because of the cult following. People don't want it to be remade because they love that movie.
Yeah.
But then the argument always is, that's a couple of optical explosions there with some CG ones.
Yeah.
But they often remake movies that were successful. So what they're kind of doing is taking a movie that didn't work and remaking it. At the time, didn't work because, well, I think it worked with people that saw it, but Fox failed to market the movie.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But the thing is the difference is you're like, you take something like Big Trouble in China that failed on its initial release, but created a cult following because of the film itself, because of the way the film is, and because filmmaking is, concept is one thing, but execution is key. And you can take any concept, you execute it right, and you can have a great film. Now, so the way Big Trouble in Little China was executed is what's made it popular. So remaking it is kind of missing the point.
Yes.
Whereas something like The Black Hole, which was a failure, but also no one, even people that like it, everyone knows that it's a stuffy movie that just wasn't made very well in certain areas, just in its execution of the storytelling. The design-wise, I think Black Hole is a beautiful film to look at. But you the execution wasn't that great. So remake it. Yeah, people love Big Trouble in Little China because of the way it was executed.
Yes.
So you can't recreate that. You just can't.
Well said, Brad. Well said.
That's why all these remakes, 9 times out of 10, they just come and go. Everyone goes, "Oh yeah, that happened."
Yeah, yeah. And now you get confused where
Yeah.
you've got like 2 films with the same title. It's
Yeah.
like one's
Oh.
called The Thing 82 and The Thing
Yeah.
2011
Yeah.
or something. It's like
Yeah. How many movies called Halloween exist now?
yeah,
I've lost
yeah,
count.
Yeah, I think it's always. I think it's where James Rolfe had said years ago that they stopped numbering movies because they're kind of embarrassed to have made so many. So I mean, Rambo 5 should be called Rambo 5.
Yeah.
And not Rambo. Well, the last Rambo is called
Last
Rambo
Blood.
or John Rambo. Just called
Yeah.
Rambo 4.
Yeah.
Come on. I think the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies were the last films to sort of add those
Have
numbers.
the 3, yeah.
Yeah. But they weren't Roman numeral like the Rockies and the Supermans and Star
No.
Treks.
Yeah.
It was just like, it's just 2, it's just 3, all right?
At least when you Roman numeral movies back in those days, people.
This looked good.
This is
This
good.
looked good as a title, didn't it? Oh, this is weird because she's
because his double's been around fucking everything up.
yeah. Didn't she try to put a? Did he complains that she put a tongue in his ear or something like that? He didn't
Oh,
know how to
later when
react.
he's listening to the others, the way the other guy
Oh
gets
yes.
his girlfriend round, and he goes, all the other girls meant nothing to me. So, what? He goes, should I put my tongue in your ear now? Oh no, he said, put your tongue. Oh yeah, no. So shall I talk dirty to you now? That's it. Because she goes, shut up and talk dirty to me.
He's got to
He
share
goes, "Shall I
his
talk dirty to you
bedroom.
now?"
Share his bedroom with his younger brother. That's a bit annoying.
Yeah, but
This is great. This moment. This is where the comedy really comes in.
yeah. And this is really good. This is really good little bit of acting by Lance Guest here.
Was he in Christine?
No,
No, I'm trying to think of another guy.
no.
You mentioned
Christine was John Stockwell, who
That's
was
right.
in My Science Project. He was now a director, I believe.
What are you doing back? Are you keeping more up there? Oh, save the whales and not the universe, huh?
I was up with Nelson from The Simpsons says nuke the whales poster. She goes, Lisa's like, why have you got that? He goes, well, you got to nuke something. The funny thing is, when I saw this guy, he's like a bounty hunter kind of character.
Yeah.
I thought it was a chap from things like Outland. He played one of the kind of another bounty hunter, and he was in Jaws 3 as the guy gets eaten, like or chopped up by a sort of propeller, I think. But it's not someone else. But they always have these little moustaches, these guys they sort of get who look.
Chopped up by the...
The machine's going to sort of take away his identity, like his secret mask, and he reveals him to be this kind of
Yeah, which is a bit random.
another cantina monster from Star Wars.
It's like the machine... How do...
I don't know why the machine does that.
It's all a bit random,
It's
that,
kind of
yeah. Brilliant. He's got eyes lower than his mouth.
We're sitting outside looking at the stars, and she sticks her tongue in my ear.
That's it. She's-
I
I
scream.
screamed. I love this bit where they both tell his brother to shut up.
I said back to sleep, Louis, or I'm telling Mom about your Playboy.
So
That's brilliant.
good.
Seeing it, just imagine that from the kid's point of view.
I'm gonna have to when I get a new place, I'm gonna definitely try and find like a old poster for this movie.
Mm.
It's a great poster it's got. Where it's got the Close Encounters thing where you got the street the American sort of street, and
Yeah.
he's standing there looking up to the sky, and
Yeah.
you've got this spaceship and stuff.
Oh, I've done again
Really
with some stuff. This sci-fi series I'm developing, I've used all that. I've got artists to recreate that kind of that look. Someone looking up with the ship behind them and all that stuff. Totally nicked from this. Just I wanted to recreate this kind of thing. I used the last. I probably used the Last Starfighter and Explorers as references more than any other movie.
The Explorers is one we've got to cover in future, isn't it, Brad?
Oh yeah, we've got
love
to do
that film
Explorers.
later.
Yeah.
I did watch that.
Yeah,
about 6 months ago.
Yeah,
I was just so disappointed by the kind of, when you told me how much they cut out of it, the ending and all that stuff, and Dick Miller, his character.
Yeah, but it's still wonderful.
It's still good
I'll learn you. I'll educate you. No, it's but this is all part of that period that was pretty magical for being a little kid during this time. Made me who I am today, unfortunately. These bounty hunters, they're always really crap.
Yeah, because there's a moment where it's kind of like the guy in the suit is not, because that much movement, because he stands there. Obviously, it's like he starts shooting at him. He's not moving. Then his arm gets blown off. It's all like
Yeah.
Love the uses of red as well that comes from the background and stuff. It's a great use of colour in this. Because a lot of the time it's got this kind of a slightly muted colour palette in areas. Maybe it's down to the transfer.
Well, I think there's I think if you look at it, there's a deliberate colour palette going on here between the mundane and the extraordinary stuff. So it's like all the trailer park stuff is all very pastel, very, quite desaturated, quite grey. But then suddenly when Centauri turns up, boom, you've got the red light, you've got all that going on.
Yeah. It's like... Oh, it's melted.
Yeah. Off he goes. And Centauri's been shot. And then we're made to think that he dies.
No witch doctors, yeah.
I think he's pretty much playing the same kind of role he played in The Music Man, Robert Preston.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never seen that film.
Yeah, he was a real veteran here. He was a real. He's been the Alec Guinness of this.
Yes. He's just got. Well, would you say that Dan O'Hillery is kind of more of that?
I don't know. I think
they both kind of. They both had kind of similar roles in that sense, where they're both kind of.
But I think at the time Robert
mentors,
Preston was much more well known than Dan O'Hillery. I mean, even though Dan O'Hillery had been around all the time, but he was more of a. I mean, well, they're both character actors, but I think Robert Preston had more of a marquee name in the past. Obviously, not now, but people still remembered him.
His blood is a bit like the stuff Supergirl drinks on the Phantom Zone. Squirt.
I love old Peter O'Toole in that, desperately trying to act through the alcohol.
If they had... Now, do you think if they did use miniatures, do you think over time it would have held up more?
God, God, it's hard to tell, isn't it? Who knows? It all depends on
Because
it all
there's
depends,
always,
isn't
there's
it?
always got to be people first out the gate to sort of try the technology and
Yeah.
have the faith in it and lead the charge.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, time will always be against them because what they produce at the time is never going to look good enough in, say, 5 years where
Yeah.
technology's improved. Where if you're shooting things within camera, then it's not really going to date. And if it's lit well and
Well,
you know,
that's the thing. If you did,
that's the risk,
yeah.
isn't it? You got to take.
If you did that, if you did models and proper optical comping well, then yeah, it doesn't date. If you do it badly, it looks terrible even at the time. So it all depends. I mean, this was I think it was $14 million the budget for this.
14, 15.
Yeah. So which is about on a par with the original Star Wars. Which wasn't a particularly expensive film at the time. Really.
No, it wasn't.
I mean,
because Alien had a tiny budget. That was shot for what, 8 million?
yeah, I
something
think it
like
was
that?
about 7 or 8, wasn't it?
Yeah. Where the year before Superman had 50 million.
Yeah.
One of the biggest, most expensive films ever made.
Yeah.
If it kept that till I think when Batman came out, really.
I believe Roger Rabbit beat it. I think Roger
Really?
Rabbit became the most expensive movie of all time,
I'm not surprised.
and I think it held on to that for a few years until
And T2 turned up.
I think T2
It was
then
100
did that.
million.
Yeah. Then basically it was like everything James Cameron did
It was just like give him everything he wants.
with a little contribution from Waterworld in there as well.
Yeah, God.
That became
That's
the most
as a
expensive
result of constant reshoots, I think.
film. and the sets sank.
Yeah.
And they were going to leave the set, but then it was discovered that the set had paint on it that became toxic in water, so they had to pay to get it dredged up.
God.
All kinds of fun and games happened on that film. And I still quite like it. I defend Waterworld.
I do openly admit that I nearly fell asleep to that in the cinema.
Yeah. It is overlong, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and there's still bits of stuff I like about it because there's a new Blu-ray coming out. It's out
Is
next
there really?
month,
Is there?
January, by Arrow. You
Ooh.
get, I think it's 2 disc or 3, no, 3 disc set.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I look forward to seeing that.
Is there going to be...
It was supposed to be out.
commentary tracks and stuff on
supposed to
it?
be out for December because I wanted it for Christmas.
Right.
It's been delayed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there's new commentary tracks. I believe.
Because I remember listening to the commentary track of Kevin Costner and Kevin Reynolds on Prince of Thieves, which I freaking adore that film, and they're chatting like a couple of old mates. It's like
Yeah,
hang on a second, when you two supposed to be
Yeah, after
falling out
Waterworld,
like
they'd fallen out,
completely unfixable fallout, wasn't that what I was like? No, they're just chatting away like a couple of mates.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, maybe everything we hear about these things aren't entirely true. This was cool.
That's very clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done that. It's just it costs nothing to do that.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of time that just to get that to work. That's it. That's such a cartoony gag.
That is, isn't it? Yeah. See, the outfits here, which I mentioned earlier, which are very kind of it feels very much from the 70s.
Very Space 1999.
It kind of feels a bit like like Star Trek the motion
picture,
yeah, with the beige.
Yeah, Star Trek the beige picture.
Your nan would go, "Oh, that's a nice colour."
Oh. And a special button that you can press so that the thing goes psycho and
It just goes
flips
bonkers, doesn't
around.
it? That's it.
launching everything it's got.
It's the bonkers technique.
This is called.
His plane, his spaceship just has a fit.
There's definitely a feeling of the design of the Gunstar is very. You feel that there was a design and then it had to be altered to accommodate, the
interior,
polygon technology of
yeah,
of CGI at the time. Because it feels fat. Looks like Godzilla, like a bit broad around the hips.
It also feels a bit like the interior doesn't really kind of match the exterior.
No.
You know, it feels like there's two different designs going here.
Hey, where'd it go? It's still there. Suspended in the xenon mist, but it's only visible if you look dead ahead.
The xenon mist. It's like it's still there, suspended in the xenon mist. But it's
It's not like regular mist.
yes, it's a
Xenon mist.
xenon mist.
Oh, that chair just make you feel sick. Spinning around.
Grasp the target control with your right hand. At your fingers is the weaponry. The lasers, photon pulse, and the particle beams. Hey, wait a minute, this is just like back home. Well, what's this? Careful, careful! That's jet plasma, a weapon of last resort. Luckily, I was in here working on it when the hangar went down. Now, are you ready? All systems. Go! Ignition!
Man, there should have been Universal Studios ride, shouldn't
Yeah,
they, for Last
absolutely.
Starfighter? See,
Oh, it
Brad
would've been
would
great.
have sat in that all day.
Yeah,
Again.
You haven't got me out of that.
This is a primitive concept.
Primitive concept.
Trying to think of them as battling evil.
In another dimension. No, they're dead. I love this when he cuts to his face where he's yelling and screaming behind the mask and you can't hear him. One.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, this-
I always
this
thought
bit
that they
here.
just like didn't loop in the dialogue.
A bit there.
Yeah, it's weird. That's really good. That's great detail because I actually added a lot of the lighting there
Yeah.
as well. That's very clever for the time.
No starfighter, no plan. One ship, you, me, and that's it. Exactly. Zero thinks you're still on Earth. Classic military strategy. Surprise! Slaughter!
That's the spirit.
Slaughter.
That's the spirit. He's so good.
I always wanted to find a desperate infection against incredible odds. Target lights, Alex. Target lights? You might want to squeeze all the
Space Corps directive, sir.
out of the system. After all, it is her maiden voyage.
He's just such a sweet character.
He is, isn't he? Yeah.
But the thing is that, it's not that long after this that you did get rigs like this in arcade games.
Afterburner had something like this. There's a big Afterburner machine. We sat in it and it kind of rotated and stuff.
Yeah.
My friend got in it once at Sega World and he kept spinning around. He's like, "Get me off it!" He's like, "I'm gonna be sick." Yeah, he wasn't a fan of it.
Soon to be a movie by Christopher Nolan. Interstellar. The best, experience of space travel I've ever had is the mission to Mars at Epcot Center, where you are in a proper NASA grade. What do you call it?
Capsule
The
or
spinny
something?
thing. The
Oh,
spinny
right.
thing that Roger Moore nearly conks out of.
Oh,
in Moonraker.
right, yeah.
You're actually in one of those, but you can't tell that you're spinning, so you're just feeling G-forces sort of change around you, and it freaks people out. Like, people have real problems on it.
Where was
But
this?
I love it.
Sorry, where was this again?
It's at Epcot Center in Florida,
Oh, sorry, right.
and it's a very realistic simulator of flying to Mars,
God,
and people were sick on it all the time.
God.
But I love it.
You'd hate to be the person who has to clean all that up.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the thing is, you're in a capsule and you've got this screen right literally inches from your face. So it's really claustrophobic, and you're in this thing. So if you threw up, it would just go all over your face because the G-force it would just like
Oh my
spread
God.
out. I couldn't imagine what that'd
No,
be
I
like.
couldn't handle that.
It's wonderful.
God, I can't
love
even
it.
handle like the VR simulation things because I just get motion sickness quite quickly, and using that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love all that stuff.
I just wanted to say I'm sorry for slapping you last night.
Oh, that's okay, Max. I'm sorry.
Well, we can have to each other tonight in Silver Lake.
So you want a good spanking again?
He's like
His eyebrows. That's
trying to
great.
figure out what's going on with the eyebrows.
Oh, it's so good, isn't it?
It's It's a wonderful, little, innocent, fun film. I mean, it really is. I just love the effect of space. It just looks really cool.
They push that it's kind of just completely empty. You know, there's no.
Yeah.
They're not trying to have always have a planet in the background
Yeah.
and stuff. You know.
This communication turret that sends out the commands to the deck fighters, which enables them to act as one during the fight.
Wait a second. We knock out the turret to get the fighters.
So I think this is my favourite bit coming up. I'll have it all figured out.
I'll have it all
This is-
figured out by the time we reach the frontier.
What's that?
The frontier.
Oh, that's great.
he delivers that brilliantly. This is a great bit of score as well.
What's a cargo ship doing this close to the frontier?
I think this score's been out of print for ages. There was an expanded version, released in the 90s.
Yeah, I think I've just I think I just managed to grab something off YouTube for my listening pleasure.
Azurian ship.
Azurian ship.
Who are they again?
Yeah, with the Azurian ships.
Within range in 5 clicks. Get ready.
They could have done these little airfix kits, kind of the Starfighter or something. You know, it's quite a cool design.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they must have been. There must have been some.
There must have been some
Yeah.
merchandise because I don't recall any when I reviewed it. When I, looked around for stuff, couldn't find anything.
Okay, bless it.
Like the mountains do look like you're going to start like a piece of chocolate.
Yeah.
Shoot, Alex.
Fire! Come on, you bozo.
It is so Crichton. It
It
really
is. It is. It really is.
I did it. You did it. You almost got me killed.
Deepest apologies, Alex. I had hoped that by putting you in the thick of battle, a great starfighter would emerge. But alas, perhaps there was never one within you to begin with. I shall take you home. You still may live a long and fruitful life back there. That is, until the Kodan reach Earth. But then again,
is.
Guilt trip or
Yeah,
what?
no, I know. But it's
But then he needs that encouragement to realise that because it's not a game.
yeah,
This is all real. He needs to
yeah.
understand
You
his responsibilities.
Yeah, no, exactly. It doesn't take it that lightly. Now that is rear projection, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's really good.
Alex, are you okay?
It really helps sells it with the sound mixing.
Yeah,
Spaced out. You're not yourself.
Well, if you were me, what would you be doing right now?
Well, for one thing, I'd be trying to enjoy myself. Leaning back.
he just starts laughing.
Around, laughing. Well, it's a start, Alex.
God. He was still going.
Still laughing as he goes past. I love the fact you know these things are around because they stink. Ah!
Oh, that's a bit of a that sort of blew up. That
Yeah.
sort of effect they use a lot in Highlander 2. Oh
Yeah.
my god, yeah.
that wonderful masterpiece.
A wonderful failure.
Have you done a retrospective on that?
Yes.
On
One, two.
Highlander 2?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, he shows the photographs.
God. It basically just gone to like Vasquez Rocks, whatever
Yeah.
it is, you know, and shot all that.
Where does your pipe live?
Oh, houses mostly. That's caves above ground. See, here's my family. See, that's my folks, and my brother Lewis, and that's Mag. We live in a mobile home. It's a cave that goes places. Only we never went in.
Oh, by the cave that never went there. That's it.
Yeah. But we have below ground caves near the trailer parks. Me and my brother Lewis used to play hide and seek in them. Hide and seek.
Ah, see?
Yeah.
He's got a plan.
Yep.
Maybe we could hide here. Let the Armada pass by. And then hit the turret from behind.
Then we might take them by surprise. The plan might really have worked. What a pity there are no starfighters left to carry it out.
Oh,
no, that's a guilt trip.
These little guilt trips. Terrible, isn't he? It's like you do to your parents when you want this action figure. Oh, it's £5, but I've
Yeah.
only got 3. You know? Yeah. All right, well,
I
I'll
really
give you
want
£2. Get you that visionary figure or whatever it was.
Yeah. You don't understand
I don't
how
understand.
much I need it.
The music really comes into play really well. The theme when he like
Yeah.
does the whole attack and the ship goes bonkers.
Yeah. I love the way the CGI models of the spaceships just when they get hit, they sort of just do this quick rotation before you see them
Pop, yeah,
explode.
you get a little clip out of existence.
Yeah.
You know?
Earth falls logged into navigational beams.
Greg?
I quite enjoyed slaughtering people.
Is it, Alex?
Maybe there is a starfighter left.
What a guy.
Yeah.
They queued up with the music as well. That's good. Silver Lake. Wait a minute. What's the lake in Friday the 13th?
That's Crystal.
Crystal.
Yeah.
There we go.
Camp Crystal Lake.
Space Gun.
Surprised there aren't more Halloween references in this.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
What's wrong? Should I put my tongue in your ear now?
Don't bother, Alex.
Don't put
I'm kind of new at these gland games.
gland games.
What are you talking about? It's like you're a million miles away, Alex.
What was he doing? Forgive me.
This is funny. Yeah. Shall I talk dirty to you now?
She's easily persuaded.
Yeah.
Isn't she?
If
Yeah.
only. If only. Yeah.
Oh no, God! Here we go. Makes it worse himself.
Yeah. Just the little smile he does at the end.
I'm not Alex Rowe.
Oh, I give up.
I'm a beta unit. I'm an exact duplicate of Alex. He's up there saving the universe while I'm down here for target practice. See?
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 Alex, or whatever you are. Wait.
What do you do? Let me go. If that Thanos then reports back that I'm not Alex, Alex is in big trouble. You're staying here.
No, I'm not. I'm not staying anywhere until I find out what's going on.
Oh, God.
Women.
Women.
That's my truck.
I think it took you a while.
That pain, you're dead, Rogan.
I think he took the guy's wallet.
I think he took his wallet. Yeah. I love the sound of these guys' voices.
Some sort of speak and spell. Isn't it?
It's a speak and spell.
All squadrons ahead. Half speed. With energy probes on.
Don't just shout at me. I'm a metre away. They all sound a bit like Klingons, don't they? A little bit when they speak
Yeah.
English.
We have energy probes on.
Oh, that music there sounds like John Williams.
Yeah. Yeah, this always reminded me of The Empire Strikes Back, this bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. When they're searching for the
Yeah.
Han Solo, with those asteroids, basically, well, potatoes
Yeah.
masquerading as asteroids.
Yeah. Although in Return of the Jedi, you have Ken Ralston's tennis shoe masquerading as a rebel ship as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Brilliant. His ship looked even too small for him to get inside.
Yeah.
God.
For real?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's all for real.
Well, then don't talk. Drive.
So it's always great if you can have that bit of exposition where you have to convince someone something crazy and you have it out of shot. You just cut back to them where they're like, "Okay, I believe you now.
Yeah.
Let's go." Just gets on with it, you know.
There it is. All right. When I get a signal, we're gonna jump. Okay? What do you mean?
What?
Around them.
Jump out of a moving car.
The Last
Okay.
Starfighter.
Welcome to
is
Broken Legs
dead.
and a fractured
Yeah,
spine.
yeah. Jumping out of moving cars in movies. Is dead. Boom.
Transmission pulsars have stopped, Commander. The Last Starfighter is dead. Last Starfighter is dead. Nothing can stop us now. Hey, Phil. Right.
I'm acting.
I don't know what that thing is he's holding.
I don't know. It's just a big, it's like a fucking spiky mallet.
Yeah.
It's just this is just an item to show that he has power, doesn't he, over the others? But you know, I think I'd rather have a space gun.
More elegant than a blaster.
The turret at the far end. I see it. Good luck, Starfighter. Thanks, Greg. For everything.
I remember as a
Oh,
kid.
there's his dad.
Ah, yeah.
That's a great shot.
Yeah. That's such an 80s moment, that.
That is, isn't it? The wind
Yeah.
kicks in as well,
Yeah.
which turns around.
Looking up at the sky. I love you, Alex Rowe.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, but it's brilliantly done. Really well timed. Love it.
Pew pew. Sounds very- Come on, fire.
Pew, pew, pew.
Unidentified craft. What is it?
Wait a minute.
A Gunstar. Just that eyeglass. I
Well,
love it.
what is the purpose of that?
Yeah. It's like, I can now see you in orange. You will pay for this with your lives. So I'm guessing we're not supposed to. We don't see him die.
No.
So
I
it's
think
like-
it's maybe either he's been killed or he's been slapped in prison, basically.
Yeah, but I'm guessing it's so that he can come back for the sequel.
Exactly.
That will never happen.
Never happen.
Or maybe it will. But the sequel that they obviously hoped they would do soon after this. Oh yeah, because he jumped in an escape pod or something. Doesn't he? Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty freaky, isn't
That's
it?
really horrible. It's like "Brrr." Into the garbage chute now, my boys.
Star has gone from our senses. Alert wing commanders.
Yeah, I just love the noise these guys make when their helmets explode.
His lips aren't moving.
Yeah.
No. What? Come on.
They obviously speak psychically to each other. That's good. It's good to know the life support is good.
Remember, Death Blossom delivers only one massive volley at close range.
Death Blossom.
Remember.
After all DV has ever been tested, it might overload the systems. Blow up the ship. What are you worried about, Greek? Theoretically, we should already be dead.
They're so Croydon.
You're always like, what's going to happen? What is this Death Blossom thing?
What's going on?
What's going to happen?
Just two lasers until I give the signal. Remember, convenient guard.
He's got cramp in his wrist from
Yeah.
playing arcade games.
Yep.
Or wanker's cramp.
It's so sweet, isn't it?
Yeah.
these graphics.
Because it's you're dealing with spaceships that don't have to be essentially photorealistic, do they? Because you
No.
don't get away with that. But it was actually human beings who just look like utter garbage. For 84
Oh yeah,
or whatever.
no, yeah,
85.
yeah. You could never do organic creatures.
No.
I mean, you can't really do these, really, but we give it a pass because the film's just too charming, and but again, it goes to show at the end of the day, effects. If effects have a style about them, that's all you want, and the main thing you want is for a film to be good and to have a good script and be charming.
It's the strength of the story.
Yeah,
If but by this point you're invested in the story and the characters, and you want
Yeah.
them to succeed, and it doesn't really matter if the visual effects aren't up to snuff in terms of what today's standards.
Yeah.
But it all adds to the charm, as we pointed out throughout the commentary, and Nick Castle's pulled it off,
yeah,
did a great job.
yeah.
Wow, look at the detail on that shit. That's really good there. It's cool lighting.
I love the way they've got wind sound effects in space.
Oh yeah. Wow. As soon as you've got explosions in space, the sound.
Yes, we actually did, didn't we? Command ship. Commander, our guns are out.
Now the size of this ship when it crashes into the planet, it's like it's like this must be a really small planet Well, that moon that
Yeah.
it crashes into, because it's like half the size of it.
Well, that's because in the arcade game you played, that ship is the end boss, isn't it? Essentially.
Yeah.
All we have left is life support power.
But it's all right. I'm going to put the red wire into the circuit board here, and
Yeah, we're somehow going to do what exactly? They have power somehow. God, do some steering, mate. God.
fire.
It's like the what's it? Star Destroyers,
Yeah.
because their shields are underneath the little dome things they
Yeah.
have underneath. You've got to shoot those in the video games anyway. You've got to shoot
Yeah.
those.
Yeah. Yeah. Was it something wrong with your speak and spell, mate? This is it. This is the we die moment. What do we do?
She won't answer the helm. We're locked into the moon's gravitational pull. What do we do?
That had to move, didn't it? Had to move to say that.
It's brilliant. Look at the size of this ship. Blah. It's like that moon should be completely gone now.
Yeah,
It's like,
I know. Wait a minute, is that our moon? No, it wasn't.
No,
it
no,
wasn't,
no. Can't be.
That's a nice. That's a mat there.
Yeah.
With a different. Well, actually, there's an optical, different elements, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the mat. That looks like a photo of the ship on the right there,
Yeah.
just cobbed in.
Yeah. Thank you.
Frontier is down. Zor escaped. And there is still danger. So I was wondering.
So a sequel can happen.
Oh, it's all kind of. It's not on the nose about it, but it's like it sets it up that he's
Really-
going to go on more
yeah.
adventures and he takes his
It really
girlfriend with
does
him.
want to
and-
be a franchise.
Yeah. This is brilliant. I love this bit. His reaction is
Yeah.
so good.
Centauri, thought you were dead. It's like,
His delivery is brilliant.
it's the way Robert Preston reveals himself, like really theatrical. Centauri, thought you were dead. Like,
Centauri! Thought you were dead. I won't bore you with details. Suffice it to say, you're on Rylos, my boy. Stop thinking human. That's lesson number 1. Now, lesson number 2. You've got a good thing going here. Keep smiling. Don't blow it.
he's like he's become his agent.
Yeah, because Samurai Arcades.
Who, the crazy people with tights on their heads?
They can't even see him unless they've got telescopic
Yeah.
vision.
You've got to stay, Alex. You will stay, won't you?
Please. But if you do stay, we do have to shave your head.
Yeah, you got to have male pattern baldness everywhere, with big sideburns and whiskers. Now this is the bit. This is the bit. As a kid, you were like, "Why does it spend so long on this end scene?" But then, but I remember when my parents first watched it, when I showed it to them, that this whole introducing the the family to the alien and all that was brilliant. They loved it. They thought it was hilarious.
There's a great shot at the end where his little brother plays on the arcade as the ship takes off.
Yeah, he gets the stall out, standing,
Yeah, and he looks up to the sky.
and yells out, "Yeah,
Great. It's a great moment.
where's your boyfriend?"
Oh, what's that? What's that? Who's farted?
Bit of wind. There's a lovely bit of time. One of these little bits of comedy where something falls off the the wall behind him, and it's.
Being invaded.
Now that's really good.
That's really cool.
That's a really good shot.
That's a great shot. Yeah, it works really
Yeah.
well. That could be a miniature. That bit. I think
I
it didn't look like CG.
I think it is.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
This is a bit. I love little things like that.
Yeah.
But it's just like effort goes into making something fall off a wall like that,
Oh yeah.
just for a stupid little gag. See, what's really good about this is that she already knows that sci-fi shit is happening now.
Yes.
So it's so she's literally just obviously
she's just hoping
it's going to be
Alex.
him. Yeah. Just keep the helmet on for a little while longer.
Yeah. For dramatic effect.
Yep.
Alex,
Hi, Mags.
is it you? I mean, is it really you?
Of course it is.
Let me stick my dick in your
Yeah.
ear. No, it's not you.
Oh, she's got, the old granny's got the shotgun.
Yeah.
Me. He's a monster.
I pinned to another planet, Mom.
There's no real other way of saying it.
No, you used to be like, stop my truck.
That was a beta unit.
Easter egg head.
Easter egg head. Put away the shotgun.
Greg, this is
Hello.
This is brilliant.
how do you do? And this is a pleasure. Any friend of Alex. And a very large pleasure. You must be Lewis. Good things about you.
I'm famous.
And this is my mom. You should be proud of Alex, Mrs. Rogan. You must all be proud of him. He saved the Star League and hundreds of worlds, including Earth.
See, I look at scenes like this, and I imagine now, being a director myself, and you're shooting this, and you got him in all this makeup, really selling it, and you just be sitting there going, God, I hope this works.
I
I
know.
hope this really hope
Because
this
you'd be
works.
so like, oh god, if I get
Yeah.
the tone right
It's
with
like,
this,
yeah.
it's just going to be a complete clusterfuck
Yeah,
and just laughed at.
yeah.
But you're not laughing at, you laugh with.
No,
this
you're laughing
movie.
with it. That's the thing.
And,
It's, yeah,
and it's just, it plays. It's been played out so like long-winded, but it's very like people just believe it what
Yeah.
they're seeing.
Yeah.
There isn't.
yeah.
There's sort of doubt and apprehension, but there is this kind of acceptance very quickly that
Yeah.
he's an alien and he's a starfighter. And,
But I think but this is this is what I love about these movies is this isn't easy. Getting this tone to work, getting this right isn't easy. You know, and you all you have to do is look at look at something like Mac and Me or something like that, where you're like, you're trying to do this and you're failing miserably at it. You know, to get the tone right of these movies wasn't that easy. But these guys, they just had the balls to do it. They're just like, hell, you know, this is it. This is the movie we're making. We're gonna go there. We're gonna do it. And there's just a confidence about it.
Yes, confidence is the thing. It's like if you don't, all the actors have confidence in the script and the direction. What's with Newcastle and what you get is something that it's as you say, it's difficult, but it seems simple, but getting everyone to sort of go on the same page, as it were, with these characters is going to,
That's what I'm saying. That's why I love these movies, not just out of nostalgia, but I look at them now and I, as a professional filmmaker, and I look at all the choices that are being done and all the, everything that's making this work, and it's like, no, it's not easy. It's not easy to get this stuff right. And we think it is because we only remember the good ones, but there's loads of bad examples.
Like, she'd be like, "Do we get paid to do this?" No.
Yeah,
we get space credits or something.
Yeah. So what actually? His baby really packs a punch. It's so lovely.
I was a bit telegraphed there. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Should we do another take on that?
Oh, the score is so good. And in this, I love this shot.
It's very Close Encounters. Sort of the vibe.
But just with that really tacky trailer park star sign in the foreground.
Yeah.
To me it sums up the movie. It's like it's tacky trailer park, and then there's the stars, and it's about looking up there. And I always remember as a kid, I used to just sit and watch these end credits, not reading the credits, just looking at this star flashing in the starfield, because it just, you don't realise the imagery that what it's saying, but it's
Will Wheaton. Here we go, Louis' friend.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Will Wheaton. I think he was cut out. You might have seen him running around in the background a bit. I don't know, but I think he did have a scene and he was cut out. Boom, 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 boom.
It's got sort of a military march vibe to it, isn't it? With the theme, the sort of heroic march with a military kind of.
Yeah, it's very much that. I know Craig Safin, he deliberately used a larger orchestra than I think John Williams used on Star Wars. He was deliberately just going as big as he could, and you can really hear it. It's such a rich sounding score.
Yeah. Final thoughts, Brad, on this? I think it's it still holds up very well with its storytelling, direction. And,
no, exactly. I mean,
as we said, full of buckets of charm.
Totally. For me, it is a trip down memory lane watching this movie again, because it's a movie that wasn't hyped in any way to me. I just watched it and it just caught me, and my mates, and we loved it. And it's also one of those movies where you're surprised that everyone involved didn't do much more stuff.
I know.
Because there's a confidence behind this movie that's really, wonderful. and a tone that's perfect. And yeah, I know, I love it. I love it. And
It's such a shame we never got the sequel. I mean, never officially got the video game, because there was as I sort of mentioned in my retrospective, there was a sort of fan-made game in 2007 for the PC, which sort of replicates the kind of the sort of interior ship thing you see in the arcade, basically. But I think you probably can download it somewhere and give it a go. But I'm not sure if it's a complete game or just a sort of glorified demo.
Yeah.
But it's the closest we've got to actually having the game. See that video game available from Atari?
From Atari.
No, it's not. You lying bastards.
It's not. Was supposed to be available.
The Berkeley book. Did you ever find the Berkeley book?
The
you
Berkeley
Berk?
book. Yeah, those are the days with the novelizations were a massive thing. And the thing is like the novelizations and the soundtracks were the only way you kind of kept these movies alive in your head for a long time, because they didn't come out in video for ages.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that show as a kid. I read the Ghostbusters and Star Wars books. They were really good.
Yeah. And a nice shooting star at the end there.
Shooting star at the end.
Yeah, lovely. As Spielberg pastiches go, it's one of the best.
Exactly. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the commentary. Me and Brad will be back with a commentary to Willow.
Willow off good.
It's gone back to the village. Ignore the bird. It's like
Ta-da!